I'm Theo.
And I'm Juliet.
And this is Apologies Accepted.
We offer an entertaining look at some of the big issues in history by examining public apologies of the famous and infamous.
We're looking at politicians, serial killers, actors, and you.
Send us a public apology you would like to make, and we'll read it on the air and give you a chance to redeem yourself or just get some guilt off your shoulders.
We're here for you. Once a week, maybe more if you're really, really sorry. Hi, everybody.
This is Apologies Accepted,
The podcast.
And I'm not Theo.
And I'm not Juliet.
And we wish you all a happy belated Thanksgiving. We had a great time in our respective Thanksgivings. And I, for one, am glad it's over because it's always a little bit stressful.
Oh, did you enjoy it?
I did have a good time. But it's always a little bit stressful, making sure all the food comes out at the right time and whatever. So that's that. And what are we going to talk about this week? Well, we're going to talk about Russian President Vladimir Putin. Oh, but first I want to know what's shaking bacon.
Oh, well, nothing as important as His Majesty King Vladimir Putin of the world. So, yeah, on my side, we had Thanksgiving. It was fine. Christmas is coming. I don't know if you know that, but it is just a few weeks away.
Beep.
I have no idea, once again, what to get anybody.
Totally.
This is the 58th time in my life I've been through that. And it's always a fucking newsflash. And I'm going to mark today as December 1st on the calendar, because that's what it is. It's December 1st.
It is.
Yep. And 14 days from now, I will be saying the same thing. I have loads of time right now to go buy presents, to sit down and think about how much I love various people and translate that love into dollars and then spend those dollars on those people. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. No, well, you're going to be in Palm Springs anyway for Christmas, so why go out of your way to shop now? You'll just have to take the stuff to Palm Springs with you or something. So just wait till you get there, and then you can take care of it all at once. There's outlet malls in Palm Springs.
I mean, there are, so that's kind of the challenge, right? The shopping there is very limited.
I see.
Right? It's either like Gucci or a thrift store. You're either rich or you're working for the rich people. And so not a lot of choice, right? I'm going to have to do it here. Or this will just be the Christmas that everybody gets a handwritten poem.
That would be nice.
Poem written by me.
Yeah, a poem about your friendship.
Everybody will get the same poem.
The same poem.
Yeah.
No one would ever know. That would be perfect.
No, who's going to go up and say like, oh, did you see my Christmas gift from Theo? It's a poem. No.
Wait, that's the poem I got.
Throw it away.
And
what'd you get for Theo? Nothing. Nothing worth talking about.
Nothing.
Yeah. So speaking of talking about, that's all I got. Although I do have to comment on your tree.
Yes, I'm better than everybody else because I got a Christmas tree now.
Yes, you have your Christmas tree. It is up and in place, and you sent me photos. And you
smallest Christmas
said
tree.
It was tiny, and it is not. It's not huge.
It should be huge.
But it's not tiny or small.
Good money for an 8-foot Christmas tree. And there's this one little sprig that sticks up like a foot. And they're counting that as a foot in this Christmas tree. So it's really like a 7-foot Christmas tree or maybe even a 6-foot Christmas tree. And it's also very thin. So it's very narrow, I guess. It's full enough, but it's narrow. So it was not what I was expecting. I have accepted it and I'll move on with my life.
Oh, your very own Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
And that's kind of how I feel. But no, it's fine. It's fine. I just like to say that it's tiny. It's probably 7 feet tall, so it's not too bad.
I mean, there was a deer under the tree when you sent me a photo of it, so I'm going to call it a nice-sized tree.
A live deer?
Yes, a live deer. I saw 7 chipmunks in the branches. There were some rabbits scurrying around the base.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, yeah.
So I guess it's not as small as I
half a forest is what I would call that tree. You should see our small tree. We had a 5-foot tree one year.
We did too. We had a tabletop tree one year. So how?
No, I wouldn't do that.
No.
That you may as well just throw the tree out the window.
Exactly.
That is not.
Agree.
Christmas at all.
That's worse than having no Christmas tree.
That's worse than just a pile of lights in the corner.
All right, let's talk about Vladimir Putin, since that's a Christmassy theme.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So during a meeting in 2007 with Angela Merkel, who was the German chancellor at the time, Russian President Vladimir Putin brought his large black labrador into the room. And there is reports vary on what the dog's name was, so I don't know what the dog's name actually was. But Angela Merkel got really nervous and seemed really uncomfortable, and she's known to have a fear of dogs ever since one attacked her in 1995, understandably. And she wrote in her new memoir, which is called Freedom, that knowing Putin sometimes brought the pet to meetings with foreign guests, she'd actually asked an aide the year before to request that Putin's team not bring out the dog in her presence because she was afraid of dogs. In her book, the retired chancellor described the incident as an ordeal. I tried to ignore the dog, even though he was more or less right next to me. I interpreted Putin's facial expressions as him enjoying the situation, she wrote. She reportedly interpreted the act as an intentional attempt to intimidate her. Did he just want to see how a person reacts in distress? Was it a small demonstration of power? I just thought, stay calm, concentrate on the photographers, it will pass. Russian President Vladimir Putin issued an apology to Merkel on Thursday, saying he did not mean to scare her. I didn't know that she was afraid of dogs, the Kremlin chief said Thursday at a press conference in Kazakhstan. Putin denied he had been aware of Merkel's phobia and said he later apologized to her. He described the situation as unintentional and highlighted his respect for Merkel, emphasizing that their diplomatic relationship was built on professionalism and trust. Sorry. Despite occasional tensions. The incident has been widely referenced as an example of Putin's tactical assertiveness in diplomacy. Putin's comments appear to be an effort to soften his image amid broader geopolitical criticisms. And that leads to my question, which is why the hell would he apologize at this point? I know the book just came out, but okay, you have feedback.
Oh, well,
what do you have to say?
So one, the book just came out, right?
Right.
But two, it is that thing of, oh, I need to show the world that I'm not a hard guy, that
What?
I am who knows?
He doesn't care about that.
I don't think he cares about it emotionally. I think it's a tactic.
Okay.
Right?
Maybe.
And if he's going to continue his war in Ukraine and NATO is going to eventually get involved, because this is only what is going to happen, right? There can't be endless war between Ukraine and Russia without Europe getting involved. I mean, Sweden, whatever.
Uh-huh.
One of those places starts with an SW. Swaziland is already nervous, right, about Russia and Putin's intentions.
Sure.
All of Europe really should be. So
we all should be.
Having some people who think that you're not the most horrid person in the world might be helpful when those people all gather in a room together. Listen, everybody, he likes dogs.
He's such a nice man.
He apologized for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, we'll talk about that when we
But I think it does two things. One, I think it's a fuck you to Angela Merkel.
Yes,
or Angela Merkel.
Yeah.
Right? And then two, for those people that need some Vladimir Putin cover, like, how can you like that guy? He's an authoritarian. Well, he did apologize to Merkel. He didn't mean to do it.
All right. That could be. I don't know that he thinks that way, but that is a plausible reason that he would apologize. So I think it's more a fuck you to her.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
remember when I brought a dog out and you were scared of dogs? I didn't mean it. So, yeah. That's all I've got. That's really short, I know, but I don't know if you have anything to add or if we should go into the apology.
So not a ton to add, right? Uh-huh. Because within this, it's sort of like, what are the paths that lead towards interesting, right? Everything about Vladimir Putin and KGB is interesting, right? And that's where kind of all the roads start to lead. And it's like, I don't really want to give him attention or think about him, right? And also, it's childish. Why does he do the things that he does? He's a short guy. Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Do not get mad at me. But, he's just got that Napoleon complex. And so I learned a very little bit about Angela Merkel, right? And so it's super short. It was not even going to be like 1 minute.
Okay.
I didn't know that she had spent the first 35 years of her life behind the Berlin Wall.
Oh, really? In East Germany?
Yeah. That she speaks Russian fluently because she grew up in the Soviet Union.
Huh.
That she was a physicist.
Nice.
Before she became chancellor. That she was chancellor for 16 years. I mean, just for a while there, it was kind of like, oh,
time.
Angela Merkel's always been president of Germany or chancellor, right? And I also did not know that Putin speaks German.
Yeah.
Because of his time in the KGB, he was stationed in East Germany. And I think even maybe East Berlin. Don't hold me to that aspect. But so here's somebody who speaks fluent German and Russian, right? Who stayed on the Russian side of things, because KGB, right? And wants the old Soviet Union back because he wants that power.
Yeah.
And here's Merkel, whose memoir, I could never say that word, or it sounds so fake when I say memoir or memoir, is entitled Freedom.
Yeah.
Right? Who has become arguably one of the embodiments of Western democracy, like it's the personification of Western democracy, right? But a woman who grew up in the Soviet Union is a scientist who speaks Russian and German. So when she and Putin met, they had not only did they have two languages that they could communicate fluently in with each other, so there's no miscommunication happening there, but they also both grew up in the Soviet Union. Now, one's leaned more towards the West, that's Angela Merkel, right? And one's leaning more towards the Imperial Russia, and that is Putin. So working in the KGB, he knows what time in the morning she has breakfast. He knows she's afraid of dogs. And their
absolutely.
First meeting, he gave her a stuffed dog, a toy dog.
Oh, my God.
And he said, do not worry, this will not bite you.
Oh my God, what an asshole.
Angela, do you get it? It's a toy. Oh. That is my vampire Putin. And so Angela Merkel understands Putin, right?
Yeah.
She knows what his drivers are, his thirst for power. She understands the culture from which he comes. She's from a very similar, I mean, I get that maybe there's a wide diversity of cultures in the Soviet Union. Fuck all that, right? They both grew up knowing that your alarm clock is spying on you, right? So I think it was rather gracious of Merkel to pretend that maybe this was just an honest mistake on his part, right? But definitely a power play, right?
Yeah.
And so with that as her past, I think her response in the moment goes to what a strong leader she really was.
Yeah.
She could have made that moment all about her.
Yeah.
Her fear of dogs, right?
Yeah.
But what am I going to say? She kept it under control. Ugh, that sounds like so trite. But she was able to not allow him to leverage that moment to his advantage, right? Because what happens when she gets scared? He gets to console her. He gets to have the dog taken away. He gets it, blah, blah, blah. But none of it happened.
Yes.
And so, but not a miscalculation on his part, because it sends a message.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I don't have anything to add. That's a good insight, Theo.
Thank you so much. Vladimir paid me to say that.
So let's talk about the apology, which I guess happened on Tuesday. The full text was not publicly documented, but excerpts and the essence of his statement have been widely reported. During the recent press conference in Kazakhstan, he addressed the incident saying, "Angela, please forgive me. I did not want to distress you in any way. On the contrary, I wanted to create a favorable atmosphere for our conversation. I thought she would enjoy it, as people in Germany generally have a positive attitude toward pets." He emphasized that he was unaware of her phobia at the time and expressed regret for any discomfort. He added that, "If you ever, I realize it is unlikely, come again, I will not do it under any circumstances." Sure.
Right. And that's
I'm
a
sure
slam because, you're no longer Chancellor of Germany.
I didn't even think about that, but there's no way that she would ever go visit him. Chancellor of Germany or not, I would imagine. So, okay, was there an expression of regret? Sort of. Yeah. Was there an explanation of what went wrong? I mean, sort of.
Lack of awareness, lack of knowledge.
I mean, is it believable? Not really. That's another question. Acknowledgement of responsibility? Kind of. Declaration of repentance? Sort of. Offer of repair? No. Well, maybe. I mean, he said he wouldn't do it again. So I guess. But there was a request for forgiveness. He said, please forgive me, which is interesting. But I think that's all our criteria. So I would give this apology a 1. I don't even want to give it a 1. I give it a 0. I don't believe in it, and I absolutely do not accept it. What do you think?
I don't accept it because I know a fuck you when I hear it. I've heard those plenty in my life. I give it a 0 personally, but I do think it merits a 4 based on our criteria because he does hit some mark. I know, right? But I don't want to. And so I've got to be, what's the word? We must be impartial judges of apologies.
Okay.
But, it gets back to that question of if Hitler issued an apology and hit all the marks,
Yeah, that would be a tough call.
I mean, on one hand, it's like, all right, wow, you hit, that's at least a 5, but, fuck you. And that's where I'm at with the Putin apology. It's in form, it gets a 4. In substance, It gets a 0 because it's a fuck you. So it's not accepted, and ultimately it's a 0.
I think the points that it hits vaguely enough that I can disregard that it hits them. So I'm still going to stick with my 0. Yeah, and you don't accept the apology, right?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I should, though, just for the sake of controversy. I do accept the apology, and I accept him as my Lord and Emperor.
You might have to at some point.
Oh, may as well just roll over. Jesus.
So how about a who's sorry now or an apology expected? Do you have one of those this week?
I do. It's a who's sorry now, and who's sorry now is me. Okay. Yes. And so my friend Jill brought her dog Polly to our house for Thanksgiving, and I left a bag of stuffing that everybody hated on the floor. I made stuffing, and then we decided we were going to throw it away because nobody was ever going to eat it. Yeah. Sorry, I know that's food waste, America. I'm not proud of this moment. But I left it on the floor because I'd had about 17 glasses of wine, and I got bored with the garbage and decided to go do something else. And her dog got into, that's how I make it her dog's fault. Her dog got into the garbage. And my delicious stuffing called to Polly, and there were onions in it. And so poor Jill had to spend some time in my backyard trying to get her dog to throw up. Happily, Polly is fine. There were not a lot of onions in the stuffing, but I am very sorry that happened. I didn't know that onions were toxic to dogs. I think if I had known that, I would have put the garbage in the garbage can where it belongs.
Yeah. Is it Polly as in Polly Longstocking? Polly want a cracker? Or is it Polly as in Polly Walnuts?
Polly as in Polyphemus. No, it's Polly as in Polly Pippi Longstocking. Polly.
Okay. Polly want a cracker.
No, Polly as in polyamorous. Jill is there with her husband, her wife, her boyfriend, and the woman she's kind of seeing on the side.
Sounds like an exciting Thanksgiving.
Well, everybody was very happy with everything except the stuffing.
Oh. Well, I have a who's sorry now. Actually, it's an apology expected. And I expect this apology from the man who was spotted attempting to ride San Francisco's Muni on Tuesday morning with a dead raccoon. He appeared to be in high spirits, moving quickly, clad in a black ski mask, backpack on his front, and a cap. He was also spotted walking up 19th Avenue, slapping cars with a dead raccoon. So I expect an apology from that man, and probably will never get it, actually. But perhaps deserved. That's San Francisco for you.
Already the questions I have. What kinds of cars were getting smacked? Was it every car or just like okay, understandable.
We're on this man's side.
That man deserves an award. He's a hero.
That's right. Yep. So that's a pre-Thanksgiving little ditty story. So that's it for me today. I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to contribute to this podcast episode, but I'm all out.
Well, you're in luck. Sit back. I have about 17 hours of... No, I've got nothing. I have post-Thanksgiving stuff to still sort of work my way through because I've had a nice lazy weekend.
Is this emotional stuff you're working through?
Well, fuck, man. Happily not too much of that. And then, let's see. And then it's Christmas.
Yay. Happy Christmas, everyone. I can say that now that it's December. Hooray.
Hooray, it's December 1st. And now, long may Christmas live.
So happy Christmas, everyone. Don't trip potato chips. No, wait. Stay cool, cucumbers.
And don't trip potato chip.
Yay.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Apologies Accepted, the podcast.
You can find links to the articles and the sources in the show notes.
To submit an apology or find out more, visit us at apologiesaccepted.net, where you can also find our merchandise.
We're on Twitter at Apologies Accepted.
And on Instagram at apologies.accepted.
You can support our important work at Patreon.com/Apologies Accepted.
And fuck Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.